Here's a recording of TINP. When we start up, we record the application. You get about 50 objects, and we can add more by simply pressing the More button. And although it takes time these days, and then when we start running the program, the objects move, well, the oval circular objects move around once they get started. And the square ones just wait to be hit, and they'll move a little bit when they're hit. This slider down here, as you know, was not hitched up correctly. It doesn't seem to have much effect on the errors that occur or not. Probably the worst errors should occur with the timer set very slow. That's a long time between before we start running again, before we wait to check where all the objects are to see if they're still in their own region or not. I think more often than not, errors occur when there's lots of computation going on, so there's a very short sleep. There might be more chance that some of the moving objects will get lost, or some of even the fixed ones that get moved just a little bit can get lost as well. So in spite of all this apparent difficulty in seeing whether anything actually gets lost, we can see back here that lots of error messages come out. Those are coming out with, I have a little test that periodically checks to see if the size value that's supposed to keep track of how many objects have been loaded is consistent with the sleep value, which is just an underscore. So we can stop this. Anyway, the point is, even though we're not seeing objects being lost in this screen, we know that the data has been messed up by not synchronizing, because of the different ways in which I compute the length there. So we can stop, although now you don't have to stop to do this. Change the number of partitions we want to have in each direction. At some point, this might increase the chance of error. At some point, it may decrease the chance of error. Sometimes I think it's more likely to get an error to occur if it's fairly sparse, because objects travel further, and if they just keep going back and forth and bouncing off each other and never getting out of their region, then they're less likely to get lost if they stay in the region. However, we'll add some more objects just to see if that, I'd say, improves, but makes the position any worse. The visual effect of this, what's happening to it. So I'm not seeing any actual. I'm going to put a whole lot more objects in here and see if we can get a visual failure. It does slow down dramatically, so it makes it a little bit harder to see the visual effects quite so obviously, other than this message in the background is continuing to run at quite regular intervals. So I'm not okay. Again, we know that errors are occurring because of the label messages. It's hard to predict for any given machine, any given time, how much it takes to cause more blatant errors, um, like actual physical crashes, exceptions, they get thrown. Um, Seems to be pretty stable right now. Okay, I was just running a little while ago, and after not too much time, I had a lost object, but this doesn't seem to be wanting to do it. Some of these hollow objects eventually go away because they're not really lost. It's just taking so long to update each of the partitions that this one and that one may be a little bit late. Now let's stop it. So there seems to be a whole bunch of white ones, and see if they'll stay white once I stop it. Sometimes this takes a delay before they turn on. Okay, so these don't seem to be turning on. So these white with the green circles have, well, no, those are actually blue, I think. These have been lost by their region. So you have a whole bunch of objects here that are no longer in a region and have been lost by their region. That's a symptom of what can happen with the synchronization off. Now, if we start all over again and turn the synchronization on, and then build up some more data, so that we can test it with the synchronization. And we'll just start running. We shouldn't get any more errors other than the synchronization true output is a very important one. It's setting it up so that we should get no size mismatches, and we should get no lost objects. So it's not much exciting to see except some balls moving around fairly slowly. I just really let it go for a little while longer. I don't know. There are a couple of things I did that might help you with debugging it. When you hit stop now, I think we're so far behind. Yeah, so when I hit stop, I got this message here saying that 350 GOs were created, and if my code goes to each of the array lists of GOs in the regions, and I've added them all up, and they add up to 350. So there are 350 that we generated and 350 in the geo region. So that's good. That's what you expect once you've got some synchronization going on there. So I can run for quite a while without getting any apparent synchronization problems when I am synchronized, which is the goal. And we do get these, because of the slow refresh time and many objects, we do get a few objects stay for a little while before the change is colored. The colors are changed. Okay, I think I'll stop this and start signing up to the big time.